Test, test.
Test. Wow. Great.
Okay, okay. This should work. Okay, perfect. This is totally not scuffed because I had to set this up in a few minutes. This is exactly perfect how it should be. Happy to hear that the automatic thing is how I want it. No, but like genuine question, why? Oh, maybe I know what this is somewhat low in audio. Let's see. Is this... Yeah, this... I mean, music is a bit too loud. This should be fine. Hopefully. I actually haven't managed to properly calibrate the audio before, which is just perfect. Okay, but that means we are now basically ready to go. And yes, you can see I've changed a bit of the stuff here on stream that was in Russian before to now be in English. And you also have to apply a small filter and wonder why there's a bit of weird sound, but should be better. Yeah, I don't know what is a bit off. You know what I mean. God, my English today, it's totally perfect. Yeah, just some noise, you know. That's why we use noise suppression. And yes, so we are live here at the Classic Tetris Russian Championship. Parts of the overlay at least have been decided, have been modified into English so that we, for example, know that I messed up the month. Okay, perfect. This is not June, we are of course in July. But no stuff like, for example, the prize pool that we know it's at 1900 rubles, which is, by the way, roughly 24 USD, because 80 rubles is $1. And yeah, or that we know the round, for example, that we are in lower 2 currently, just so that it's a bit easier for our viewers online to understand in what part of the bracket we are in. And yeah, so with that, we are, at least in my opinion, ready to have an amazing event here, watching the more or less top 6. I say more or less because, as you see, we do have an amazing double elimination bracket. If you've seen any of the, for example, German events like CTWC DAS last week, as well as last year, for example, we do use double elimination as well. There we go, but overkill. 64 player double elimination. We had like 128 matches this year. But yeah, here it's much more manageable, as you can see. And yeah, so the players currently still in the lower 2, so 9 and 10. Vlad, Nexi, Unskll, Kronberg, hopefully, Niko, and Portal. You know, at least one of these players based on their CTL performance. You know, Kingsman is in chat, so we have to do a bit of CTL promotion here. But no, for real, CTL is amazing and Niko is a good player there and definitely my favorite to basically win the whole event. Yeah, I would go so far. Like, I don't know that much about the Russian Tetris scene. That's just my wild guess here. So yeah, let's see how that will play out here. Will my favorite Niko be able to win this? Will Portal, the second undefeated player, show us that they also are an amazing player? Or will the two in the lower bracket be able to come back? So yeah, in case you don't know how the double elimination works, basically, for example, in match number 7, so upper 2, Niko versus Unskll, Unskll lost against Niko and now is in the lower round and is there playing against Kronberg. And if, for example, Unskll managed to win against Kronberg, then he advances to lower 3, so to the right. Then he has one match there, and he will play against whoever wins between Vlad and Nexi. So assuming Unskll wins his match 9, if wins match 11, he will then be in match 13 and play against the loser of match 12. And whoever wins match 13 advances to match 14, also known as the Grand Finals. So there is potentially only 2 matches in here for Portal or Niko, assuming they win this one. And whoever loses has at minimum 1 more match there. But of course we could have, for example, Kronberg or Unskll just winning the 3 lower bracket matches and then the Grand Finals. So in theory we could have, let's say, Niko, who loses 0 matches, play against someone who had to play 3 matches before, which is a huge difference in the amount of stamina that you need to show. And one of the things that makes the flat bracket so interesting, in my opinion. But he also Kingsman dropping the fact in chat that Niko won over Eyeball yesterday. By the way, I also apologize for the audio a bit. I don't know why. I wanted to add a VLC media source, but I didn't have that available, only a normal media source. And apparently a normal media source can only play 1 song and not a whole playlist or folder, which is why I've only done a single song currently, and I will manually switch it at more or less random intervals. We do love modern tech, of course. But and with that, officially they are starting now. They is in the Russian stream, which means I have no idea what's going on, just how it is for you. Which means I need to talk a bit more about the Russian community. Oh, well, actually it's not Russian. I saw that he has, for example, also players from, I believe it was Azerbaijan. No, it was Kazakhstan. Okay, so you have people from Russia and Kazakhstan. So Kronberg is from the lovely country named Kazakhstan. And he has a PB of 1.1. And actually all the players in seem to have a PB of at least 1 million. I have like some basic facts about the players. Really basic. But it's much better than having nothing at all. And we can see the players here, as well as the player information overlay, which I sadly didn't manage to translate into English in time, which means, yeah, it's still in Russian, but you can see their Twitch channels. So for example, Unskll 25, as well as their, I believe it was age. Let me double check. Yeah, exactly. Player's age. So Unskll is 25. Then we have their play style, which is rolling. Then we have their PB, so just under 1.1. And their country, which of course is Russia. And then we have the same for the others, which means Kronberg is 17, roller as well. Vlad 18 being a dancer. And we have Tetris being 16, so currently the youngest, also a roller, and having the currently highest PB of a 1.2. So currently of these players, in theory the weakest is Unskll, but all of these are max outers, and we can see some of them here warming up on level 29, like Unskll on the left side here. Actually, another challenge that I'm facing is I don't know what kind of countdown they do. So maybe we can't even do some nice 3-2-1 Tetris. Oh, this kind of reminds me of how I did the Polish championship not too long ago, where they hired me because they were like, you're gonna butcher all the names. And yes, I commentated some of the CTWCDES last week. Some as in all of the qualifications, and then a ton on CT2 and CT1 on the first 2 days of the matches. So basically up until the top 12. And yeah, then I did the interviews on the last day. So you're gonna hear me a bit there as well. Or you heard me, I should say. Here we don't have any interviews as far as I know. And it looks like the players are getting ready for the matches here, as we have 3 readies and are just waiting for Kronberg here. And welcome to the chat, Summer, saying good luck, have fun, everyone participating in CTWC Russia. Actually, out of curiosity, what the heck? The audio stopped on my side, I'm confused. Okay, that's funny stuff. Looks like my earphones are somewhat misconnected. Should all be fine on stream, just something on my side. Or maybe I just got on one of the F buttons by accident. But you know, I wanted to check Twitch to see how we are live. Okay, it's called Classic Tetris Russia Championship. That does sound reasonable to me. And yeah, so we're basically ready, just waiting for Kronberg here. And once he is back, we are ready to go. And of course, I apologize to the players if I use incorrect pronouns. I do not plan on doing that. I just literally don't know them, and I'm guessing based on what feels correct. So there could be some mispronounce usage. I apologize for that. Other than that, we can see some more 18 warm-up here by Vlad and Nexi. of course, Vlad is the only... I thought it was Des, but apparently it's hyper tapping. So we have Vlad, the only hyper tapper here in chat or playing. And yeah, 3 rollers. And we have Slava saying Vlad Davach. I have no idea. My Russian is, let's say, not existing at all, so I'm gonna butcher everything here on stream. But isn't that kind of the fun of these international streams? You know, people who have no idea about how to pronounce the names, for example. It's just somewhat fun, in my opinion. And none of these names can be worse than trying to pronounce Polish names like, what was it, Ćwierkoszczak, which I still mispronounce, but I'm proud of even getting somewhat close to it, because that's the name he chose, because it's so tough to pronounce. I wonder if everything is alright here on Kronberg's side. Appears that he is offline on Twitch, so that they have some slight tech issues over there in Russia, or technically Kazakhstan. Okay, no, Kronberg is now ready, which means Vlad and Nexi should hear a hey, please get ready as well. Just a wild guess. And once they are ready, I'm gonna make sure to use a different song so that we have at least a different song for all games. Maybe not like different songs in a single game, but I'm gonna try to change them somewhat often. Okay, the players are still warming up a bit more. And Slava is explaining that his Vlad Davat meant go Vlad. So it looks like we have one fan of Vlad, the only non-roller currently playing. And let's see if that go is gonna be enough here to allow Vlad to advance into a higher round. Also, I should log into Twitch to make sure that I can post the not Matcherino. It's, what was it again? Donation alert. Because, you know, if you want to support the players, then there is no Matcherino, sadly, which means you have to use a different method because of the sanctions on Russia. But I made sure that you can pay. So it looks like anyone from anywhere in the world can support these players as long as they are using, what was it, a Visa card, I believe? So if you want to support the players, I should be logged in a few seconds, and yep, looks good. So I'm gonna post the link at least over here on Twitch. There's a question, is prize pool actually prize pool? I never knew regional CTWC Russia was the thing. Oh, it is. And looks like the players also have started, at least, you know, some time ago, like 100 lines on Vlad versus Nexi, which I totally got, by the way. I'm gonna pay a bit more attention now that I have set up the Twitch as well and everything so that I can support the support links. But yeah, based on my knowledge, the Russian community has more or less monitored the events. So there is a bit of a Russian online community. Not sure about how much of it is in person. Like, for example, this event also is done online. But yeah, there is some, and that's actual prize pool that, as far as I know, will go to the players. And yeah, the transition is gonna come up on the right side between Vlad and Nexi here in a few lines. Only 9 here for Nexi and 14 for Vlad, down to 10 for Vlad, and down to 5 for Nexi. We have 500 versus 483. So just under Tetris difference here between these two players. But of course, Nexi has played a few more lines, so there's a slight lead in favor of Vlad. Here we can see 484 transition for Nexi. And Vlad is now already at 548. Before the transition, still one line left to go. So there's about a 2 Tetris lead here for Vlad, or 3 even in the transition. On the left side we have 368 for Unskll, as well as 274 here for Kronberg, which means about a 100k lead here for Unskll, who actually has a lower PB, which does show us that PB isn't the only thing that influences how well you play or determines. There's so much more that comes into play, and we can see Vlad's now setting up for quite the aggressive calm 3 here, does get the bar. Nicely done here by Vlad, getting out of this situation bit by using at least one Tetris here. Yeah, exactly one is open and can go for the next Tetris on the standard side. Had to close the well once again, so it's gonna burn a few more lines. Mist drops over taps that green L piece. So a bit of burn here now for Vlad once again. He had a bit to spare, but as we can see in the points, Nexi is now ahead. Of course, Nexi also played a lot more lines, so it's not as bad as it looks here for Vlad. But he still needs to get out of this basically as soon as possible, as Nexi can go for Tetrises again. Yeah, next Tetris here to Nexi. So we have 630 versus 677. And on the left side we have 513 against 361, and Vlad didn't get a piece over to the left. Hang it, looks like it. Yeah, probably hang an L piece. Yeah, hang an L piece, the green L piece on the left, and then a green Z piece on top of it. And that was the top out and end here for Vlad, which means Nexi got the first heart. It is 1-0 here for Nexi. Exactly when I looked over on the left players, of course someone tops out. But here on the left side we have 590, 390. So huge lead here for Unskll. Has played a few more lines as well. And is getting quite high. Yeah, let's see if Unskll can get off here. Nice first burn to get a bit lower, but couldn't use the J piece to the left here. Tops out at 594. Which means Kronberg is in a chase down. He needs to get up to 595, which means about 160k left here to go for Kronberg. And once he has that, he can... he has quite a high aspire in the center. Oh, and one more burst! And that's the top out here for Kronberg. So Kronberg is topping out at 460, which means we have the 1-0 for Unskll, and Nexi is just one of the max out here. Now you have 1-0 and 1-0, which means we could actually see a simul start here this time. Let's see. And what's happening here on Unskll's? Okay, the webcam is now fixed again. Looked like a bit of a funny meme picture there. We have 2 players already. We should have Vlad and Kronberg ready soon as well. And yes, we know that Tetris is invented by Alexei, who is from USSR, quote-unquote Russia. So why it's not that famous there, I have absolutely no idea. But that's why we have local events, so at least a bit of, Russian participation. Actually more than Russia, because Kronberg is from Kazakhstan. And yes, so all players are ready. It looks like the countdown has just finished over there on the main stream, which means Unskll, Vlad, Nexi and Kronberg have now started with their respective games number 2. I clicked a different song. Why didn't it work? Ah, it worked now. Perfect. So we have Nexi already having a bit of issues here on the left side, which means there's gonna be a bit of cleanup, which means Vlad will be able to build up a small lead here in the opening. On Unskll and Kronberg's side, it looks quite nice so far. Clean boards all the way. Yeah, just a few slap burns here currently on Unskll's side, which means he is getting to the 70k a bit later. And Kronberg is going for the Witz, does get a bar and Witz fulfilled for Kronberg. Yeah, some slight burns here as well, but nothing major on Kronberg's side. While Vlad and Nexi both are open. Nexi is quite high here, needs a bar or something to burn soon. Close the well left bar. Yeah, okay, fine. Slowly cleaning this small situation here up. Just a few lines left to go. Who gets good pieces here? Kronberg in the meantime also quite high. Is able to burn this down. And Nexi is basically open, just one line left to go. Is open, can go for the next Tetris and Tetris to Nexi. In terms of pace, Vlad is currently ahead. We can see 140 against 119. And Vlad has played a few lines less. Unskll high on the as well. Gets pieces over to the left side. Few small burns here for Unskll. Yeah, and he is out of the immediate danger zone. And getting good pieces here for the downstacking. Kronberg back into some trouble here. Unskll topping out just after I said getting good pieces for the cleanup. He started to top out immediately, which means that Kronberg was able to get the 1-1 here. It is now 1-1 between these two players. And on the right side we have Nexi being a bit close and high once again, getting the bar into a Tetris, and yeah, 218, 220. Nicely played here by these players so far. At least they are similar in score. And next Tetris going to Nexi once again. And here's one more, so we have 248 against 288. And we are at about 80 lines, so we are still a bit away from the transition. So depending on when Unskll and Kronberg start the next games, we maybe can do a bit of a, let's say, fake countdown over there. I for sure hope that we will be able to at least. And next set is going to Vlad here, 340, 316. And one more to Nexi, so nice clean games here. As we had about 100 lines, so 30 lines left to go. And the left side is ready, so there's a bit of a 3, 2, 1 Tetris going on over there. It was totally off, of course, but at least I tried. I wasn't even that off, just like the 5 seconds or so. Oh, Nexi is quite high, getting the bar, and Tetris. Okay, good. Which means he is a bit lower and is able to go for the next Tetris soon before the transition. There's about 9 lines for Nexi, and 16 lines for Vlad. So it's actually quite neck and neck in terms of pace. Nexi transitions at 460, was a 480 in the last game, so quite consistent. And 6 lines, now 4 lines left to go here for Vlad. Getting the Tetris, 460, 470, so neck and neck in the transition. And Clocksper saying, of course, there's gotta be a Vlad in the Russian Championship. Of course, there's to be, just as that OP is saying, needs something for the right side, doesn't get the piece over to the left, which means Vlad tops out at 473. And Nexi is able to win game number 2. It's 2-0, and next up, of course, is the match point for Nexi, getting a triple, and let's see how he will play the last lines here. Is he gonna Madden once again, or is he just gonna top out? On the left side, it is 142 against 120. So a bit of a lead here currently for Mac. Oh, and Nexi is quite high here, showing us some 19 survival using rolling, but doesn't get the OPs over to the left, which means 2-0, top out, and next up is the match point. Unskll is open, and Mac needs to burn a few lines here to get clean once again. And Vlad is left to get, I don't know, maybe a strategic toilet break in. You know, the toilet break is something at least known in the C-Tech, so the PAL championship basically. Their players oftentimes are away for like a toilet break in between all games. So have like a game, toilet break, something like that. And yes, so Vlad and Nexi are both ready, so there's gotta be a 3-2-1, and Kronberg misdrops that LPs and is topping out. Yeah, that just escalated quite quickly, which means Unskll has already won game number 3, and it is 2-1 match point for Unskll next. Vlad and Nexi in the meantime are waiting for the countdown, which hopefully will be a simul countdown, by the way. And if Nexi wins the next game, we are gonna have a sweep for Nexi. And thanks to whoever donated 5k to the prize pool. I didn't see who it was, but that means the prize pool is now at, I believe, $86. So huge thanks. Okay, Super Football typing something in Cyrillic, most likely Russian, but I have no idea. And the games have just started. Mag is once again a bit delayed. Okay, and the question was, Vlad, I understand you are from Russia. What are the others from? Okay, so Unskll is from Russia, Nexi is from Russia, and as you said, Vlad is. Kronberg is from Kazakhstan. So we have 3 Russian players and 1 from Kazakhstan. Here we have 51 for Unskll, we have 69 for Meg, we have 33 for Vlad, and 91 for Nexi. And there's one question by Super3 Football. Was Tetris invented in the USSR in 1984? It was invented in the USSR. About when it was invented, I believe 1985. So you're off by 1 year. Mark's saying Tetris was released in the USA in 1984. Huh? Okay, one of us is confused and I don't know who it is. What I know is that Unskll is a bit high, is getting a few burns in, trying to downstack, maybe even using a Tetris. Yeah, no, it wasn't even Tetris already, that was one off the floor here. It's now getting the Tetris and it's 1-19 for Unskll against 1-68 for Meg. Meg and Vlad both need to win this game. If they don't, they lose the match and are out of the tournament, as you're in the lower two, as you can see. And yes, Nexi is from Russia. The only one who isn't is Meg, who is from Kazakhstan. Okay, so in terms of points, it's closer between Unskll and Meg now. Less than 2 Tetrises in points, but there are like 2 Tetrises in lines that Unskll played more. So if you take that into consideration, it's nearly 100k difference. Vlad and Nexi are quite neck and neck. It's like 290, 297, so less than half a Tetris difference there. And yeah, I believe it was developed in 1984 but released in 1985. And then of course being developed into like 200 different versions on like 100 devices. It's a game that basically all players know. The current tournament is a local for Russia, which means basically Russian-speaking countries are trying to understand like who the biggest or best player is. I don't know what an equivalent is in other sports, to be fair. But if you talk about football, also known as soccer to the American players, there you also have like the championships for countries, for example. So it's kind of like that. And Unskll is from Russia as well. So 361, 365, 376, 4-3. So it's quite neck and neck here in both matches. And we are only about 30 lines away from the transition. And let's see if you can see quadruple level 29 here. .29 is the maximum speed that you can war party play. There the pieces for like 1 frame per row, so it's fast, but still playable using hyper tapping, at least a bit, and properly playable using rolling, which 3 of these players are using. So you could see like level 30, 31. Actually, we saw level 30 competitively in DAS last week when Andy played. Okay, 466 for Unskll in the transition, the first 2 transition. All the others are board and Tetris away currently. Next, he looks like he's trying to go for center well. Yep, and he transitions using a center well for 90. Next Tetris to Nexi. And Mark transitions at like 49, which means there was about a Tetris lead here for Meg. 1 more Tetris. And it's neck and neck here between Vlad and Nexi. But it's also quite interesting to see a hypertapper nowadays, because the world has basically split up into Dessers and Roders, I would say. Oh, Unskll topping out here. So yeah, there's a bit of a chase down of a few thousand points here for Mac. He needs 552, which is just a few singles. So we can play safe until the end here. Between Vlad and Nexi, it's about a 26k lead here for Nexi. And here Mac also topped out, which means it is match point between Unskll and Mac next. While Nexi is still looking like he's gonna sweep here. There's a bit of a lead here, 632 against 698. And one more Tetris going to Nexi. And one more, now up to 758. Yeah, so both players in the right match are currently playing quite well here on level 19. No big issues that I've been observing, so we could see level 29 for both players, hopefully. Small misdrop here of Nexi after that L piece on the left side. So there's gonna be a bit of cleanup, which of course is good for Vlad, because Vlad is currently behind 120k. Are getting the incorrect J piece, not getting the proper J piece, but missing the tag. So there's a bit of cleanup that Vlad needs to do. And that's not what he wants to be in. Like this situation, not good. Yeah, 5 hands difference only. We have 821 against 900k. And one Tetris to go for Nexi on this level, 11 in total. And one more to Nexi. And yeah, super, it's quite easy of an explanation. I will do it after the game here between Nexi and Vlad. Nexi now on level 29. Nice transition, pretty clean here, just needs a few thousand points for the max out. Is at 985, is low enough, is going for a few burns. Well done here. Okay, yeah, staying low, but didn't get the TP, so it needs to go. Was able to turn it into a good flat burn. Just 2k left to go. Okay, one more single. Please, please. Okay, perfect, he got it. Max out to Nexi. Okay, so in terms of the streams, the original stream was on Classic Tetris Russia on Twitch. There's also Russian commentary, and then we have English over here on Classic Tetris on Twitch and YouTube, where we have English commentary done by me. I guess in English you say done by yours sincerely? Something like that. I'm also not a native English speaker, by the way. But yeah, we're now going into the one match scene here between Unskll and Mac. We can see 128 against 99. Small burns here for Mac. And this means Vlad is out of the tournament. Nexus is now in the top 4 guaranteed. Oh, we also have a longbar counter. That's quite nice. So you need the longbar, the 4-long thingy, to get a Tetris. And a Tetris is how you score the most points. The amount of points you get is basically multiplied by the amount of lines you play, somewhat like that. So if you get a Tetris, it's just worth the most points that you can get. It's like worth 24 singles, so each single is worth like 6 times how it is if you got a single instead of a Tetris. So mathematically speaking, go for Tetrises is what you need to do. And Niko's saying, I can tell that you're German since I'm a fellow German. Nice, perfect. Two Germans enjoying some good old Russian Tetris here. Okay, we're about halfway through level 18 in this game between Unskll and Meg. Point-wise, we have 257 against 209. And one Tetris going to Meg here. Wanting, for example, an O-piece, LJ also works to get Tetris ready without a burn. Wasn't able to, but got nice pieces here. Is now Tetris ready. Is getting a bit higher now, wanting the bar. Is getting the bar Tetris to Meg, while Unskll needs to burn a few lines here. Nice J-piece. J&T also quite nice. And is building up the next Tetris. We are now at about 90 lines. Yeah, Meg burning a few lines here. But if I look at this, then 2 Tetris lead here for Unskll. So this could be quite a good game here for Unskll. Oh, and Kronberg is topping out at 103 lines here and 312, which means Unskll wins game number 5 and is now in the top 4 as well. So well played here by Unskll and Kronberg, or actually all 4 players who just played, which means we have also 4 players left. And next up we have round 11, also known as lower 3, which will be between Nexi and Kronberg. So that means I need to change the round. And in terms of the amount of matches played today, we have already seen about a third of them. There's 6 in total, as far as I know. It looks like we're not gonna do any bracket reset. Yeah, as you can see, we had Vlad Nexi, Unskll, Max. Next up we have Nexi, Unskll in 11. And after that we have 12 between Niko and Portal. And I'm quite sure that you're all excited to see Niko play. At least I am. Been a bit since I've seen him play. Well, a bit. Few days. Not that much. Okay. Let me check out what the original stream is saying. If there's like a small break, for example. I want to open the stream. Yes, visit site. And it says small break, but I don't see a timer. So if you ask me, we could start in like 2 seconds. I have no idea. And welcome to the chat, Lighthouse. Nice to see you in chat once again after meeting you last week. And yes, you have 69 rubles, which is of course quite funny, but it would be much better if we get to 420.69. How much would that be if you got to 420.69? That would be about $500. That would be quite nice. Let's see if we will be able to achieve that. If you want to donate to the prize pool and are currently in the Twitch chat, because I don't have a Google account, so I can't do this on YouTube. But yeah, the link is now in chat. Or it's donationsalert.com/r/classic Tetris Russia. Feel free to donate a bit to the prize pool and support these players. The top players, I don't know how many exactly, will get parts of the prize pool. And it's currently like $80. Like 1 ruble is about $80, you know. Wait, the other direction. $1 is 80 rubles, of course. Okay, and looks like we are getting ready for the next set of players, which is Unskll versus Nexi. You can see them here back again. On the left side we have Unskll, and on the right side we have Nexi. Whoever wins this is guaranteed to be in place number 3 or higher, like the top 3. So let's see who will be able to win this match. We have 2 rollers, so we are gonna have fun in that regards. Could be able to see level 29. We have no idea, but we will see. Nexi is ready, Unskll is ready. So we can start the first game here between these players soon. They are already preparing up, you know, trying to get some boxing in, as you can see on Nexi and Unskll's side. Let's see who will be able to punch harder. And thanks to Adam Irish Experience for the raid of 4 players. Welcome in the chat from some nice English CTL over to some Russian over here on CT1. Well, Russian Tetris I should say, but Russians also works because you have 2 Russian players here. So the match has started. Unskll and Nexi both won their last match. Nexi managed to sweep while Unskll was forced into the decider. So in that regards, Nexi could be a bit stronger, but Nexi is quite high, he needs to burn. Okay, good first starts here for the down stacking. Okay, incorrect SPs. Okay, nice single, getting good pieces. LJ dependency, J piece, nice L piece. Okay, is nearly open once again, so the danger is nearly over. But whew, that was quite a tough situation here for Nexi. Okay, high, next bar, Tetris to Nexi. Nice, good positions here, but Nexi once again a bit higher, so needs to burn a few lines once again. Unskll in the meantime is just able to play quite chill Tetris here. As you can see, it's 98-38. Nexi's LJ piece is absolutely horrible and is topping out here, which means Unskll is winning game number 1. And yeah, as Niko said, almost 0 on top out. That would be so sad. On the one side would be sad, on the other side we also have, of course, the good old Zero Club. So he would be able to party a bit with some of the other zero clubbers. Which basically means all of the players, because, let's be real, all of us have been in zero club at least once in our life. Oh yeah, we can see the bit beam flicker thingy here on Unskill's face cam. I have no idea what it is, I just know that it is a bit of fun to see it. Oh, Nexi also looks like he is having fun. And the players are ready. So let's see if we can start game number 2. I would say they're just waiting for the countdown here. And Max saying, imagine if we get a 0-point game. We have seen 0-point games before, so it wouldn't be that surprising. It's just always a bit funny to me. Like, you expect these higher level players to not get 0 points basically ever. But it still happens. Like, quite often. Even in, for example, CTM it sometimes does happen, like CTM Masters, of course. Okay, so the players are once again ready here. Looks like we could have a bit of a sheet issue maybe. Like the heart for Unskll just isn't appearing. Of course, there are sometimes, you know, some small tech issues. Just means that it looks like with a bit of delay here. Oh, I'm talking about delay. I even have a bit of a schedule here so that I know when we're supposed to play what. Or maybe I don't. This is confusing. Okay, I was trying to understand what they're doing here. Ah, okay, no, I don't. Huh. We're 20 minutes behind schedule. Nice. Like, we were supposed to start this match about 20 minutes ago. And Niko's saying Unskll throwing out random IRL emotes. Oh, I love it when people do that. You know, it's so important to bring some fun into Tetris, or some, not only fun, but in general good vibes. Like at CGWC Death, we had someone getting like a real life skin, a ski jumping suit, I believe it was. And now we have actual emojis in real life, exactly what you need, the kind of fun. It's, you know, we are one community. This is what you want, or at least what I want. So we have 47 against 45, which means you have 2 Tetrises, neck and neck here in the opening. No bigger issues so far. Just a bit of a drought now happening. Okay, the buff fell down on Nexi's side. And here also on Unskill's, so the drought is over and both players got out of that situation quite cleanly. Bit of burns now on Unskill's side once again. We have Nexi getting the incorrect LPs on the left side, wasn't able to go for a nice flat, so had to build up a dependency. Is now getting a few Tetrises, and the only LPs turned LJ, got the LPs, nicely done here for Nexi. Is now ready for the next bar, and yeah, gets the Tetris for Nexi. And one more Tetris also on Unskill's side. It is 145 against 183 at about the same amount of lines, which means you have a 2 Tetris lead here for Nexi. Nicely done. Unskll is a bit high, but is starting the cleanup on the left side. Yeah, few small burns here, so down stacking maybe happening properly here. Nice, only double. Okay, next thing on the right side, getting behind the center. This could be tough to get over to the left. Yeah, TP's misdrop, and it looks like that's a top out. Yeah, top out for Unskll at 153, which means Nexi can get the 1-1 here. And let's hope that the players didn't use all of the energy in the last match. That would be unfortunate. But of course, if you play a lot of matches or like games in succession, it's always tough to play perfect all of them. And yeah, Nexi is mullening a bit here. Getting a few Tetrises in. Topping out, which means we should be able to start game number 3 between these two players in a few seconds. The players are ready, so we should be able to see them start game number 3 in a few seconds. It's gonna be like a 3, 2, 1 Tetris. And both players have started. Let's see if this seed will be kind to them, or if we once again will see an early top out. Yeah, first Tetris and one single happened on both sides. So at least to me this feels pretty much like what I expected to see at the Russian Championships. Nice clean games. Next Tetris going to Unskll once again. And we are at 7k, 7,000 rubles prize money. If you want to support these players, then feel free to donate to the donations alert. The link is in Twitch chat, and if you don't have access to that, then it's donationalerts.com/r/classic Tetris Russia. Now let's go back to the game here. 138 against 117, so if we bought a 1 Tetris lead here currently to Unskll. We have Nexi burning a few lines. That red LP is not quite what he wanted, which means there's a bit of burning on Nexi's side, or on the left side, but on Unskll. Nice clean board, able to go for Tetrises. Next bar into Tetris for Unskll, and once again a bar into Tetris for Unskll. It is 191 versus now 151. It's about a 40k. Yeah, 2 Tetris lead at that point. And we had just one more donation here. Thanks for the 777 rubles donation. Which means we are close to $100 prize pool. About 80 rubles is $1. So we are just about 200 rubles away from the $100 prize pool, which is like $3 or so. Yeah, 261, 220. Small build up here on Unskill's side, trying to stay clean and lower to close the well here. So 2 small burns incoming. Now we're up to 2 more lines open into next Tetris. Whenever the number falls down, exactly Tetris to Unskll. Nexi in the meantime was able to stay quite clean here, getting the bar into Tetris. 289, 289, nearly same points. Only difference was some push down on Unskill's side. And we have one more Tetris here for these players. 337, 312. 1 Tetris lead here to Unskll. Yeah, we can see that Unskll is a bit ahead in the piece sequence, as we saw a few line pieces difference between these players. But yeah, this feels like quite a decent game. We went like 100k per 25 lines, and they've been able to get above that so far. So, nicely played here. The first about 2/3 of level 18 speeds. Nexi needs to clean up. OP is not what he wanted here. That's gonna prolong the cleanup by a bit at least. Here we can now see small burns here on Nexi's side, trying to get as clean as possible and that as quickly as possible. Unskll is clean. Nexi is one thing away from being open in the center, so center Tetrises are possible for Nexi. Let's wait for the bar here. Here's the bar and Tetris for Nexi, and once again a Tetris for Nexi. Nexi only bought 60k, so 2.5 Tetrises behind Unskll now. Next Tetris to Unskll. Nexi and that red A piece wasn't sure where to put it or early rotated. I would say early rotated and needs to clean up at least one single here now, and looks like it's a misstep of that T piece. So more cleanup now by Nexi just before the transition here. Okay, it's getting a few singles in. Is now open once again. And we have Unskll on the left side getting the next Tetris and could get a 600k transition. Decides to go for a safety, so 580 plus for Unskll. Highest transitions so far. And one more Tetris to Nexi, 504, so about an 80k or 3 Tetris and some change lead here to Unskll. Next Tetris going to Unskll once again. Now at 612 versus 512, so that 0.100k lead here to Unskll. Nexi is getting a bit higher in the transition once again, getting a few burns in, nice. And looks like needs something for the center here. Once he does, he can, but he can't get what he needs for the center. And can't get the TBs over to the left, which means Nexi is now in a bit of trouble here. Gets the next bar, no, he doesn't get the bar over. Topping out at 520, which means Unskll is able to force the 2-1 here. And next up we have match point for Unskll. So Nexi was quite dominant in his last match. Looks like Unskll could end it for Nexi here though and force his own way into the top 3. As we are currently in the top 4, so we have 2 players left in the upper bracket and 2 players left in the lower bracket, which are here in the lower bracket Unskll and Nexi, and in the upper bracket it's Niko and Portal. So final 4 players. Nexi and Unskll both are ready for the match point for Unskll. So we're gonna start the match point in just a few seconds. Should be like a 3, 2, 1 Tetris. Yeah, close enough. And welcome in the chat to Toka. Unskll is opening up here, having a burn. So does Nexi into Tetris and into Tetris. So it's neck and neck here in the opening, just how it is basically all the time. Some more small burns here happening on Nexi's side. Is now ready for the next Tetris, waiting for the bar. And doesn't get the J piece over to the left, which means Nexi will need to burn at least one line there later. While Unskll is able to go for one more Tetris and is setting up the lead here. Once again, a small misstep here of that J piece on Nexi's side. Rotation not quite where you wanted it to be. Looks like a double rotation to me. So if you press the rotate button A and B, you normally rotate it once. Sometimes you accidentally press it 2 times. That's a double rotation, it just flips twice. 101, 103, so there's neck and necky between these two players. The cleanup on Nexi's side hasn't really cost him any pace. One more Tetris to both players now. Nexi could try to clean up. Looks like Nexi is trying to go for a too high cut 3. So aggressive play, which you of course can do in the opening parts of level 18. Next Tetris going to Nexi, and welcome in the chat, Mesa. Was a pleasure to meet you last week in Cologne at the CTWC DES. Next Tetris going to Unskll here, 172. Against Nexi at 159. Now once again Tetris going to Nexi. Nexi in the lead here. It's neck and neck. Whoever gets a Tetris is in the lead. Unskll having LJ dependency. SZB burst wasn't that good here for Unskll. Closed the world here for a bit. But of course same does apply to Nexi. And next Tetris going to Nexi. Yeah, and Unskll is at about the halfway point. We are at 248, 217. A bit behind where you normally wanna be, but still 2 decent games here. And especially quite necky between these players. You can see the long necks, that's what it is. Neck and neck. Next Tetris going to Unskll here, 296 against next Tetris to Nexi, 271. So about a Tetris lead here currently for Unskll. One more for Nexi, so it's now neck, and one more to Unskll. Unskll in the lead. Same amount of lines, one Tetris lead here for Unskll, so decent position at 89s. Of course, you want to increase it. Actually, one interesting thing that I heard not too long ago is that for some players, being in the lead is more stressful than being behind, because when you are ahead, you need, or like you want to keep that lead. Which of course is a valid point, so let's see if mentals do affect these players in any way. Haven't really seen that, but maybe on Nexi's side he is behind, he has a bit of a messy board here, like playing one high, had to play center well, heard earlier that he's like a Tetris behind. Could affect him, but we see 332 and 387. So it's actually now the lead here for Nexi of about 2 Tetrises. Next Tetris to Nexi, so Nexi now 3 Tetrises ahead. Playing one high though, once again. There's a chance that he wants to get down to the standard height before the level 19 transition. And we have a few Tetrises happening as we are just about 20 lines away of what's potentially the last 19 that Nexi will see. Nexi getting a bit dirty, okay. Good burns, open Tetris, and one more Tetris here to Nexi. 8 lines to go, 500. Unskll, 11 lines to go for 30, so 70k. 2.5, nearly 3 Tetris lead here to Nexi. Actually, this is more like a 3 Tetris lead here to Nexi. Nice position. 2 lines left to go. While Unskll, 7 lines left to go, being a bit high on the sides here. Not horrible before level 19, but optimally wants to find a way to get a bit cleaner. Incorrect LPs here. Okay, is not getting the T-spins, so Unskll is gonna transition quite high here. Roading will help him out. Let's see if he can get out of this situation while Nexi is clean here. Once Unskll wants to bar for the center, doesn't get the bar in time. Is now setting up some burns on the left side. Got the LPs, JPs. JP is actually quite nice there when you get the pieces over at least. Is open once again, so nice survival and downsticking here for Unskll. Unskll getting the next bar and Tetris into 596 against 589. Unskll, Nexi high on the left side, doesn't get the TPs to where it needs to be, so Nexi is topping out at 589, which means Unskll is in a chase down. He needs about 70k to go. His goal is 590. which means he can just play for how long he wants. There's no need to go aggressive. He is only on level 21. He could try to line it out. Of course, he does want to get at least one Tetris in, because that simply allows the chase down to be quicker. But yeah, less than Tetris left to go here for Unskll, which is about 24 lines, which means not even level 25. And of course he's trying to go for Tetris, and he has got the bar into Tetris into 3-1. Unskll is in the top 3 of the Classic Tetris Russia Championship 2025. Well played here. And with that, there's only 3 matches remaining. Next up, we have Niko versus Portal. Planned to start in a few minutes, so here we are now back on schedule. Nice. I'm gonna do a small break here to drink some water. Do remember to always stay hydrated. And here's the bracket. As you can see, we have Nexi Unskll finished in lower 3, which means next is upper 3. I can replace that here real quick. Lower into upper 3 is next, so Niko versus Portal. Oh, and I'm just realizing that I'm streaming at and recording at 30 FPS, huh? Is it really 30? It is. Which of course is totally enough for a Tetris stream. Okay, so Niko and Portal should now be preparing for their match to be played. We are scheduled to start basically now. And of course, if you like what you see, you should also let me try to find if there's a Russian Tetris Discord server that I can link. But I don't see one. I was like, hey, we should... Ah, here it is. Can I link Discord chats in chat? Because... Let's see, if you like what you see... Okay, I can't post links in the chat. Kinda sad. But to post the Russian Discord link in chat, but I'm not allowed to do that. But yeah, there in fact is a Russian Discord server. Where, based on what I can tell, Niko, Portal and Unskll are basically ready to go. As they're in some kind of voice chat. I say some kind of because I have no idea. I don't speak any Russian basically. And welcome in the chat, Unskll. Nice to see you here. Well played so far. You are now in the top 3 guaranteed. And can relax while we have one match coming up between Niko and Portal. Of course, you know Niko as basically the best Russian player, I'd say, at least the best one that I know of. So it's gonna be quite hyped to see him play here, and I'm looking forward to see what kind of challenge Portal can put up here against Niko. Haven't really seen Portal play much before, but it could be quite amazing to see the match. And the Unskll also saying Niko's overpowered, I cheer for Portal. That's what I feel like as well. But I do cheer for a good match. I don't care who wins. I just care that we have a nice close match. Amazing matchups and all of that good stuff here. Because I want good matches and good entertainment. Yeah, we can see Niko from Russia against Portal from Kazakhstan. Okay, and Unskll. I hope I didn't butcher any pronouns, and I won't butcher them in the future. But if I do butcher anyone's pronouns, please correct me. I don't do that on purpose, I guarantee. I just always need to guess. And my guess for Portal is most likely she, her. If I'm incorrect, then feel free to correct me. Same as, of course, go to any other viewer here. If you happen to know more than I do, then always feel free to tell me. You should, I do expect that. Here we can see the players warm up a bit here. Looks like Niko's warming up doing 29 Tetris in the invisible version, which is quite tough to play. You know, you have the speed and you don't see where your pieces land, or like what the board looks like after landing. So you need a ton of concentration to remember what you did. And on 29, oh, that's so tough. But here, if we look at the PBs, we have 6.2 and 5.5. So that's quite close here. And at least to me, that means I'm looking forward to this. Again, I haven't really seen Portal play before. So let's see how this match will go between Niko and Portal. Portal is ready. Niko is setting up the seat here. And once the seat is set up, we can start the next match. And we are now at 8,000 rubles price pool, which means basically $100. If you want to support these players, then as you know, there's a donation alert in the chat, soon at least. We put it in the chat. I don't know when the countdown is coming, could be any second. The donation link is in the chat, and for the players, we should soon have a 3, 2, 1 countdown going on. Let me try to somewhat time it. It looks like we have a 3, 2, 1 Tetris more or less happening between Niko and Portal. Niko already having an interesting setup here using the T pieces, of course, as the does work out nicely, but now has basically an L dependency on the... What the heck is Niko doing here? I have no idea, but it's working out somehow. His deck is set up for Tetris, which means just one line for Niko and Portal to get a Tetris here. Well, Niko actually, Portal actually got a Tetris already. So Niko now getting his own Tetris. It is, wait, not a Tetris for, what the heck is Niko doing? I'm so confused. Okay, Tetris to Niko. Oh, I see what's happening. Oh, if you look at the score counter, yeah, it's off by 1, so it's basically 98k instead of 9800. So you need to imagine the 0 in front, behind the score basically. Most likely, Niko is playing using the 7-digit score, but it's captured as a 6-digit score, which explains why it looks a bit off. That's at least my guess here. But yeah, so it is 144 against 159, which means it is neck and neck here between these two players. And here we can see that Niko has a lot of fun playing, Portal has a lot of fun playing. That's exactly what we want here at the Classic Tetris Russian Championship Winner Finals. The only 2 undefeated player here out of the top 8 that played. Undefeated so far, but one of them will move to the lower bracket where they will play against Unskll. And talking about high and low, Portal is quite high here, needs to find a way to downstack, wanting a bar now, does get the bar just in time. Important dirty Tetris for Portal. Open once again, point-wise, neck and neck, 261, 262, just a single difference between these two players. Next Tetris is going to Niko, next Tetris is going to Portal. And we're going to Portal here. Niko needs this DP, works out nicely for the Tetris setup, so both players are now clean and ready to go. Once again, here's the bar in Tetris to Niko, and to Portal, and to Niko. As you can see, Portal is ahead in the piece sequence a bit and also played 3 more lines. So you can see the routes, for example, a bit earlier on Portal's side. Oh, Portal getting a bit high once again. Nice pieces to open up into Tetris for Portal. Playing dangerously high. You kinda need that at this level. You know, you want to be able to get as many Tetrises as possible against an opponent of Niko's caliber, because you know that Niko can and will play up until level 39 if needed. So you need to not fall behind before that and hopefully find a way to get that tiny lead in. And we have a Russian message here in the YouTube chat saying, I believe it's boom, Tetris for Jeff. Which of course is basically the one big Tetris meme that I always feel like all people know about. But nowadays it's actually weirdly, let's say, unknown now in the newer generations that we are into rolling and all of that stuff, as it's quite a few years old already. But yeah, good old boom Tetris for Jeff, as we have neck and neck here, 2 long necks, exactly as we needed. Niko is a bit high here, getting good pieces to set up the cleanup. Yeah, and finding the proper placements here for the downstacking. Portal transitions 657. Niko is still 69 away, getting the next Tetris here, 568. We had 657 for Portal. Let's see how close Niko will be able to get to Portal's transition score here. getting a bit high now, Niko, that is. Okay, small few burns, open once again. And Tetris 6-16. So it's like a Tetris lead in the transition for Portal. Tetris in some change, I'd say. And we can see Niko already having some more issues here on level 19. Getting the next Tetris in. And yeah, so the lead for Portal is now massive, about 120k. But Portal is also a bit higher now, needs to clean this up. It's getting some nice pieces for it so far. And yes, Niko accidentally put in 7 score, so it's 1 digit higher than you see. So it's not 77k, it's 770k. Ooh, small early shift of that, or tap of the TPs for Portal. So Portal needs to clean up a bit more. Niko is open, getting the next bar to Tetris for Portal. 830k for Portal, 860 for Niko, 860 for Portal. So Portal seed is basically null now. Portal still needs to clean this up. Doesn't spin here. Next up is for Niko. Niko now ahead and having played 12 lines, so 3 Tetris is about 100k less than Portal at these levels here. Niko is open, getting the next bar. Perfect clear for Niko. Nice, amazing, perfect clear for Niko. Showing us something that you already see in NES Tetris, and that SETI doesn't give you any extra points, only style points. 922, 908, we could see the first max out and even double max out of the day here between Niko and Portal. Next Tetris going to Portal. Portal now at 943. And Niko is getting a bit high here. Once the next bar, safety double into Tetris for Niko, into Tetris for Niko, Tetris for Portal, Portal at A, at max out for Portal, as well as max out for Niko. Again, Niko has played 14 lines less, as you can see, which is a massive difference and a huge advantage in terms of pace for Portal. And we should prepare for level 29, which both of these players are capable of playing. So let's see what level 29 will show us in about 7 lines on Portal's side and in about 15 lines on Niko's side. Next Tetris going to Portal. Portal is wanting to transition using a Tetris. Is set up for the Tetris now, waiting for the bar. Triple into B transition for Portal into 29. Into next Tetris for Portal. Niko needs to burn a bit on his side on level 19 speed still. Okay, Portal is getting a bit higher. Nice singles here for Portal. On level 29 speeds, you oftentimes only go for small singles and doubles because the speed is so high. Needs something to the left side, does get the left side bar over. Next, JP on top of that. Niko also transitioned into level 29. Portal's board is falling apart. Portal has C13. C13 is 1.213, which means Niko has won the game in a few singles. He needs 1.24, C24 to be ready. He is set up for Tetris, getting the bar, and Tetris for Niko into 1.26, which means Niko is able to win game number 1 here between these two players. And wow, what an opening here into the winners finals, the upper finals. Well played here. And the players are ready for game number 2. Which means, once again, back to slower level 18, where I can talk a bit more about, for example, the message by Ops in chat. I will actually take a look at that after the countdown has started, because I want to do a bit of fake countdown stuff, and I don't know how it's going here. Okay, we have Niko going back into ready. Can I see the players getting into playing position? Let's see, let's see. I'm waiting just like you are. I have no ideas over there on the Russian side. It looks like 3, 2, 1, Tetris. It's actually kind of tough here. Okay, stop saying. I've been following Tetris since back then, 2016, so about a decade now. Amazing that you've been watching Tetris this long, and hope that you still enjoy it as much as you did back then, maybe even more. But there's also a channel, Yuri the Professional, popularized Tetris through his funny commentary. I have no idea about that channel, to be honest, but I hope that it's an, as Mark is saying, amazing introduction into Tetris, and that it's a lot of fun. And then we also have Nexi saying, yo, sup guys, welcome. In the chat you played before, and as you can see, we are now here in game 2 between Niko and Portal. 93 for Niko against 92 for Portal, so it is neck and neck here between these two players in game number 2. In the last game we saw both players getting into the deep into the level 29 transition. Portal topped out at a C2-3. Niko in the chase down then built up a Tetris, got the Tetris into about a D, and then topped out, so it was quite close the last game, I mean. Let's see how game number 2 will go between these two players. Both of them are guaranteed to be in the top 3, of course, as we're here in the top 3. 3 players remaining, these two, as well as Unskll. Wits ready here for Niko, getting the bar, Wits fulfilled. Also a Tetris here to Portal and a Tetris to Niko, so with 152 against 213. And yes, Nexus, you got the top 4. I believe I already congratulated you on stream, but of course I forgot that, haha, you were watching the Russian stream, of course, so congratulations to top 4, place 4, now on stream as well. And next Tetris is going to Niko, 244 against 281, so we bought 1.75 Tetris lead here to Portal. Okay, so bit of a drought feels like, but no Tetrises are coming down. Or long bus, of course. And next is saying, I think I will be back in the Tetris community soon because I played well in the tournament. Happy to hear that, and happy to then also see you in international tournaments soon, hopefully. Okay, so neck and neck, 337, 336. We are done about 2/3 of level 18 here. And these players are just showing us what they can do on 18. We saw high transitions in the last game, and most likely high transitions here once again, as Niko already has 400k at about 90 lines, which means 600k is still possible here for Niko. Portal is a bit behind in pace now that she needed to close the world here for a bit. Cleanup is now done. Small overroll of that red SPC on Portal side, which means a bit more cleanup here to do, which will allow Niko to get in an even bigger lead. Okay, next Tetris is going to Niko. Bit of cleanup here on Niko's side as well, while Portal and Niko are also getting ready for level 19. Of course, as a roller, level 19 is not that different compared to level 18, but you still need to prepare at least a bit to make sure that, for example, your board is not in a horrible state, but it's not for these players, so Most likely not that much preparation here. Nice spin of that S piece we had for Niko. Next Tetris is going to Portal. 508, 471. Next Tetris to Niko. Niko can get 3 more Tetrises. So 700k is barely not possible here, especially now that he needed to burn. Bit of a messy board here on Niko's side now, but still 40k or about 2 Tetrises at of Portal. Portal transitions at 518. And Niko transitions at 536. So yeah, a bit under Tetris lead here to Niko, or also neck and neck. Portal is ready, Niko is ready, and Niko just get the Tetris into Wits. And one more Tetris here as well. And we have a Tetris to Portal, so nicely played here so far by these players into level 19, I would say quite cleanly. And even in the chats, welcome in the chat saying, I really look forward to the US and Russia working out the beef so we can see all these folks at CTWC. Would be amazing. I would love to, for example, see Niko at the CTWC, you know, arguably the best Russian player playing in CTL Division 1, for example. But let's focus on the game as we are nearly halfway done at level 19. And of course, after that, level 29 is up next. Next set is here going to Niko. Portal has a too high setup currently. Waiting for the next bar, getting the bar into Tetris for Portal. A jelly dependency not filled in, instead using a bar for, let's say, a bit cleaner maybe, for the standard right wheel transition here. On Portal side, well, Niko has been able to go for it all the time. Point-wise, we have 837 against 797. So we had about a Tetris lead here for Niko. After the next Tetris is here for Portal, it is now neck and neck, 868, 856. But Niko has played a few rounds less, so the pace lead is still in favor of Niko. Next set is going to Niko here once again. And Portal. Next Tetris for Portal as well. And one more once again. Okay, so level 27 has just happened for Portal and the stream just froze. I hope we will be able to see level 29 happening. Currently it's neck and neck, 966, 954, but we have no more updates here on Portal side. I have no idea what's going. Next set is going to Niko. So max out for Niko just achieved. I can only assume that it's the same for Portal. Next set is going to Niko once again here. Looking to maybe even 1.1 the transition. Okay, Niko, it was just a tiny update here. Okay, stream seems to be done on Portal's side. Uh-oh. Let's see what is gonna happen here. Niko also high, getting the bar. Tetris for Niko triple, transitioning at A9. Okay, next set is to Niko once again at B3 now. Getting a few small burns in. Is now basically ready for the next Tetris. Is ready. And Portal also now on level 31, so not much missed. We have B45, B30. Next Tetris going to Portal. Portal B69, P70. Neck and neck, slightly tier to Niko. Niko's spot a bit tough. I need something for the right side. Getting the bar over. Nice. Burns now starting here on Niko's side as well. Portal is open. Ready for the Tetris now. Waiting for the next bar. Getting the bar. Tetris to Portal. Niko is needing to clean up a few lines here. Portal also gets the bar into Tetris for Portal. C65, C50 for Niko. And both players trying to play as aggressive as they can here. Needs to burn a few lines to clean up sometimes, but we can see Portal also going for the next Tetris here. D3 Niko, D1 Portal. Ooh, Portal's stack is in a bit of trouble there. Once again, some cleanup that she needs to do here. Nearly open once again is open here. Nice. And waiting for the next bar. Yes, Niko is open. Yep, and Tetris to Portal so high in terms of stack height. Well done here. And we can just see Portal being nearly cleaned. And we're close to level 39. At level 39, as far as now we have the super kill screen, double kill screen coming up, where it does once again increase by twice the speed that we are in. It is E67, E61 here currently. Level 38 for Portal. Portal can't really go for any Tetris here currently. Is behind by just a few thousand points, can go for dirty Tetris. F1 for Portal. Portal 2 runs away from the transition, could go for one final Tetris. While Niko, E9. Niko needs F21. F21 needed here for Niko. Niko also getting quite high here. Needs one bar. Give him the bar. Where's the bar for Niko? And Niko doesn't get the bar. Topping out at E92, which means Portal wins game number 2. And it is now 1-1 between these two players. Well played here by both of them on the kill screen, level 29 speed. And let's see if they can repeat this on game 3 again. As both players are ready to go. And I'm once again changing the music on stream to just, I believe, something else here. Both players have started. And we are back to a bit more chill level 18. After the last game, which got all the way to level 39, this of course does feel a bit slower, but doesn't mean that it's any less stressful to these players. It's just different stresses that they experience. Like on level 18, the stress that you have is, you can't really afford any mistakes, because any mistakes you do will be heavily exploited by your opponent. Compared to level 39, for example, where the stress is somehow finding a way to get a Tetris in. So it's just different parts, or like different skill sets that get used or tested. Let's enjoy a bit of relaxed 18 here. At least for us, for these players again, it's not that relaxed. We have 117, 137, so Portal getting up a small lead here. The Nexus, I believe, earlier said that, I know it was Unskll. Unskll earlier said that Niko is overpowered. But yeah, Portal got at least one game off, so let's see if Portal is overpowered as well. These top level rollers, of course, can in theory play until the end, which is where we had players getting the game crash. Next Tetris here going to Portal. Portal now to 30. Against 189 for Niko, which means Portal has a small lead of like 2 Tetrises here against Niko. Next Tetris going to Niko after a nice T-tag. Is set up for the next Tetris. Next Tetris to Niko to 35 against 233. So neck and neck. Portal quite high here, getting the next bar. High dirty Tetris to Portal. Well done. Open once again just in time for the bar, and next Tetris going to Portal. Portal at 304 against 258 here for Niko. So 2 good games here for these players currently going on. And Portal having a few red S pieces here that she just put in the center on top of each other, not really knowing, or like having better place for them. Okay, good LPs to Portal as well here. So now just waiting for the next bar, for the next Tetris, while Niko is getting the Tetris into 329 versus 364 here. So yeah, 2 Tetris lead for Portal does stay for now. Okay, is Niko going for the spin? He is going for the spin and he does get the spin. Next Tetris to Niko once again. Once a bar. Yeah, Witz for Niko basically. The next bar piece was a bar. So I played here for Niko Witz without taking any risk even. And yeah, one more Tetris to both players. 398 for Niko against 402 here for Portal. Portal once again here being closed a bit, so needs to get open. Is having an LJ J piece and open once again here. We are now at about 90 lines, which means less than 40 lines to go until level 19 transition, and it is neck and neck 443, 452, except that Niko played 10 lines less, about 2.5 Tetrises, which means in terms of pace, it's about a 2 Tetris lead here to Niko. Niko is set up for the next Tetris, where Portal got a nice L adjustment here. Looked like she was trying to go for a burn, then saw the bar and went for the tuck instead. Next Tetris going to Niko, 535 against 521 here. About half a Tetris lead here to Niko. Both players trying to get a clean transition, and at least looks like they do. But Portal center is quite high, does get the spin, nice. And you have 627 against 570, so about a 50k or 2 Tetris and some change lead here to Niko. Portal transitions at 576 and Niko could get one final Tetris and it will have the highest transition score of the day. Next bar into Tetris, 656 for Niko. So both players were able to transition into level 19 quite cleanly. We just did a nice Tetris here for Portal. Well, Niko is already here. LJ dependency filled, getting the bar. Tetris for Niko. And small miss on the left side here for Portal. Portal wants to clean this up ASAP to not allow Niko to get too big of a lead in. Next Tetris to Niko here, level 23, 24, so half of level 19 is already over. As we have Portal having some slight tucks and stuff like that here, but managed to get all of them in. Okay, next Tetris to Niko. Niko nearly having the max out. Just a few lines to go. Like burns, 7k about. Portal in the meantime is behind by like 160, so Portal will have to catch up a ton on end of 19 as well as all of 29. Okay, Niko getting the next bar, max out, nearly 1.1 even. Portal quite high, getting the Tetris in. One more Tetris to Portal, so Portal will also have the max out soon. Could get it before level 29. Next Tetris to Niko. Niko at 1.1. Could even get the C 1.2. Next Tetris to Niko. And Portal transitions at max out. A2, A3. Nicely played here so far by Portal. Yeah, Niko already having the 1.2 now. Okay, Portal quite aggressive here, of course, on 29, as I said, she needs to catch up. About 160, 170k here, a ton on level 29. Okay, the bar didn't fully go over to the left, but is able to find some nice burns. Next bar also doesn't go over to the left, which means Portal tops out at A8, and Niko does get game number 3. But of course, if you ask me, Niko, feel free to play out this game. Let's see how far you can get in terms of score. Okay, next set is here to Niko. Niko at D. Of course, if you get a 1.6, you get the roll from F to 0. So if you ever see that, don't be surprised. It's gonna be counted as a 1.6, and we know that that stuff happens. It's just how the 1 point or like counting hexadecimal was implemented. Hexadecimal being base 16, so if 0 through 15, basically 15 being represented by an F, as we can see. So Niko having a 1.5 now, and the 1.6 will have a null 0 in the beginning. Set up for the Tetris, getting the bar into Tetris for Niko. Man, Niko's level 29 is so impressive. Like, he does have some issues, like not have, but build some issues. Of course, sometimes like this Opus, for example. But in general, this is just wow. 1.6 now here for Niko. Casually getting a 1.6 comp here. And one more Tetris to go for Niko. Could get a 1.7. 1.7 perfect clear. Oh, so nice here for Niko. And to level 39 and even getting a single on level, like 2 nines on level 39. Amazing D-well played here by Niko. Perfect clear into 39, into just that bit more. And taking game number 3. It is 2-1. One more game potentially to go here in the grand finals between Niko and Portal. Both players are ready. Let's see if Portal will be able to force the decider. And we can see both players have just started. Yes, so if Niko wins this, he's guaranteed a spot in the grand finals, which means he will be in the top 2 and get a nice part of the prize pool. Whereas if Niko loses, of course. If Portal loses, then Portal will be in the loser finals, so still top 3. But then have one more match against Unskll before having a grand finals. So basically, this is at least about having to play a match less, and depending on how the Russians implemented double elimination, You know, normally you have a potential bracket reset for the finals because, you know, in let's say normal bracket, it's like, hey, if you win a match, you're further. But here it's more like you need to do 2 times to be out, which means at CTWC Death, for example, you can have a bracket reset. So if you come from the losers bracket into the grand finals and you win, you have to win a second time. Whereas if you come from the winner or like upper bracket, you only need to win 1 time in the grand finals. I have no idea how they implemented it here. Could be the same. I haven't really seen that on the spreadsheet though, so I'd say we should expect here to only be the grand finals and no bracket reset. Unless I oversaw something, which could also be, and hope I did. Anyways, Portal just topped out at 192, which means Niko advances to the grand finals and Portal will have to play against Unskll next. Yeah, the last game was just quite exhausting here for Portal apparently. Getting 2 games up to level 29. It's just playing so long and it's a bit on your fingers, a bit hard on your fingers. Which means Portal will be in the group lower finals now. 1 match against Unskll to go. And of course, if you like what you saw, then we do have a prize pool and feel free to donate to it over on donationalerts.com/r/classic Tetris Russia, as it is now in the chat posted by me. And I assume that we have a small break here between this and the next match for Portal to, I don't know, drink a bit, eat a bit, that kind of stuff. I don't know what exactly, it's just a wild guess. Let's try to figure out what the schedule is for now. Doop-de-doop, Unskll Portal, next up at 5 minutes ago, so I guess there won't be too long of a break at least. As you have. Ah, that's how they did the bracket reset. Okay, I see. Okay, there could be a bracket reset, so we have 2 or 3 matches left to go. Unskll Portal, and whoever wins this in the grand finals versus Niko. Let me try to see if there's a bit of a break. And it looks like there isn't, so we should be seeing the next match in just a few seconds. Okay, and we have Portal and Unskll now ready for the loser finals. Let's see if mental and exhaustion will matter on Portal's side or if it doesn't matter at all. Who will face off against Niko in the grand finals? Of course, we just said Portal versus Niko. And as far as I know, Unskll and Niko faced off in upper 2, which we haven't seen, where, yeah, exactly, when Niko swept Unskll. So both players so far have lost once against Niko. So this is kinda a who will be able to get revenge against Niko later in the grand finals. Okay, both players are ready to go here. And Unskll is ready to show us some meme stuff, which I can't translate sadly. And with that, it looks like we are ready to go. 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Portal has started, Unskll started already different setups in terms of how they place their first pieces. Okay, so both players have started level 18 here. We have bought a Tetris lead here in the opening for Portal. Unskll needs to burn a few lines to get ready for the next Tetris. And of course, we haven't seen Unskll play that much of level 29 before. And welcome to the chat, Scooty. The prize pool sadly isn't correct for CTWC Russia. It's this link here for Russia. So if you want to support the Russian players here, feel free to donate to the prize pool. We have 139 for Portal, we have 61 for Unskll. Nice tuck on Unskill's side. Of course it was double high tuck, so it wasn't that hard, but it's still important to get all of them. Okay, so the first shift lines are over, and we can already see an 80k lead here to Portal, supporting having a nice early lead here against Unskll in game number 1. As you know, we have a best of 5, so we're gonna see at least 3 games here. And yes, so far Portal is playing quite well in this matchup, so I wouldn't say that exhaustion or mental form the first match before against Niko are affecting her that much. As we know about. Yeah, let's say 90 lines, 80 lines, 90 lines, about that. 445, 280, so nice game here for Portal, while Unskll has had a bit of a suffer game here so far. Will need to catch up quite a lot on level 19. Our Portal is getting quite high as well, but getting the next bar over here. Tetris to Portal. 536. Getting quite high once again. Nice. Tag needs something for the right side. Okay, does decide to burn a double and gets Tetris, and Tetris down to a much nicer height now here for Portal. Nice adjustment here on Unskilled side of that red S piece. And getting Tetris into 387. 409, 609, 200 KD tier for Portal. Yeah, this is a massive, massive lead that Unskll will have to catch up on level 19. And thanks for updating the exclamation mark Reno link. Or did I see it? I think I'm stupid. Anyways, let's focus on the game. 681 transition for Portal here. Massive transition. Amazing D-well played here on 18. Doesn't go for the Tetris. Instead cleaned up the bar dependency and is now taking a few burns here. Having the next bar dependency on the left side. Bar still not falling down. We have quite a route here. Bar finally here. Portal is cleaning this up. Unskll didn't get the bar over to the right. Needs a way to clean this up. Doesn't go for any burns here. Is topping out at 527. Which means we have 1-0 for Portal. Portal takes game number 1 against Unskll. And yeah, with that, we are soon ready for game number 2. And Portal, of course, is showing us quite dominant gameplay here currently. And the players are ready for game 2. Which means we can see the next round between Portal and Unskll, as Portal has just started here. And Unskll having a bit delay here. So has started as well. Next Tetris going to Unskll. 22. Or like first Tetris to Portal also happens, so also at 22. Yes, you know, in general, we don't expect that much, let's say, weird stuff here. And I believe I forgot to update the round. Yep, it's of course now lower 4. Could also say lower finals. Actually, let's do okay. Let's jump for that. Let's do lower 4 instead. Portal is a bit high here, needs to clean this up. Getting nice small burns in. Well played here so far. And doesn't really get the pieces to get fully open. So still some cleanup here on Portal's side, while Unskll is able to get ahead now. Okay, Portal's high cleanup is now finished. There's still now this semi-high cleanup that she needs to do. But could try to go for Tetris. Okay. Looks like Portal is about Tetris ready here. Yep, getting the bar Tetris to Portal. And Tetris ready once again. Next Tetris to Portal. While Unskll didn't get the T-piece over to the right side. Which means Unskll is topping out at 122. And that means it's 2-0 for Portal. Yeah, Portal managed to win the first 2 games, which means if Portal wins the next game, she will be in the grand finals for the first rematch against Niko. Match life is on the line here for Unskll. If he loses here, he will have place 3 ready, guaranteed, as there's only 3 players left, these 2 and Niko. Portal has started, Unskll has started. Okay, so Portal is going, Unskll is going. And I just got a message by Mikael, Little Mac, that apparently I effed up some pronouns here. I do apologize for that. I was like, Portal probably she, her. I didn't know. Apparently it's he, him, so I apologize that I did a slight mistake there so far. I will make sure to use the proper ones fully now. And once again, a bit of stream delay on Portal side. Fixed already, perfect. Point-wise 74, 75, so just as you expect in the opening here, that it's neck and neck. Normally we don't expect any bigger differences in terms of score until like 40, 50 lines in. At least that's my general idea. Bit of misdrops here on Unskll's side, which means Portal could be able to get in the lead now. Yeah, here's the bar and Tetris for Portal. And 147, 126, Portal in the lead, while Unskll still needs to clean up a few lines here, question mark? Yeah, okay, he does. He's not going for the Tetris. I was like, how aggressive is he gonna play? He could have played more aggressive, wouldn't recommend it, but he could have. And Portal had a 2 white on the right side, which means needed 1 Tetris, or used 1 bar at least to get ready for the Tetris. Next bar and Tetris to Portal. 194 for Portal, 142 for Unskll. Small burns here on Unskll's side. Next single for Unskll once again into 150 versus 217. And next Tetris here going to Portal, and one more Tetris going to Portal again. So Portal is about 130k, or like 6-7 Tetrises ahead of Unskll here. Massive, massive lead. As we're only about halfway done at level 18. And one more Tetris is going to Portal, 380, 187, as Unskll is once again option A needing to clean up, option B playing aggressive. Looks like Unskll is trying to play aggressive. Close the well, just 1 piece before the bar, open once again, and bar does fall down. Tetris to Unskll. Once again, close before the bar here. That's always so painful because you're trying to play as aggressive as you can, but the pieces just don't allow you to. Please give Unskll the bar now. He's playing quite aggressive, and once again, of course, closed for a second, and the bar does fall down. Okay, finally, one more Tetris to Unskll. 242 for Unskll, 430 for Portal. Unskll cleaning up a few lines here. Next Tetris going to Unskll into triple. So Unskll is nearly cleaned up here. While Portal is just playing, say, casually aggressive here. Based on what I saw, not even going that high, for example. And we are about less than 20 lines away from the level 19 transition. 481, 325. And Portal once again playing quite high here. Waiting for the next bars with the Tetris, also getting a few burns in to stay low enough to not be in any issues. Tetris to Portal. Unskll in the meantime, 7 lines to go before the transition, could get 2 Tetrises. 1 Tetris or 1 single to go. We have 558 for Portal in the transition. Amazing transition. 377 for Unskll. It's nearly a 200k lead here for Unskll. Next few burns here for Unskll. And next Tetris to Unskll here. 434 against 659 for Portal. Tetris going to Portal and to 688. Unskll needs to clean up a few lines here, has finished the cleanup. Portal in the meantime having a bar dependency. Column 1 doesn't get the bar over. Still low enough to get a few burns in and the next bar over again, but now needs a second bar for column 1. Does get the bar, nice, and a double into nearly. Tetris ready. Okay, Tetris readiness for Portal achieved and fulfilled. 724, 534, 200k lead here. For Portal, once again getting high, bar into Tetris for Portal. And still ready while Unskll is waiting for the next bar here, which should fall down in a few seconds. Yep, here's the bar for Unskll. And the time delay between them is like 2 or 3 lines, so long bars apparently. Okay, Portal open again. But the Unskll needs to find a way to put some more pressure on Portal. Left side for Unskll quite tough to get anything over. Right side as well. So Unskll is topping out at 565, which means we have our second grand finalist being Portal. Huge GG's here to Portal for winning this match and now being in the grand finals and having a second shot against Niko. Portal is trying to play up to level 39 apparently. Let's see how far Portal will be able to go here. Next Tetris going to Portal and misdropping that LPs and then just topping out casually here before the transition. Max out for Portal was achieved. And that means we only have one more match left to go. And I'll try to do like grand finals like this, and yes, I'm not using studio mode currently. I apologize that you need to watch me adjust this live. I believe it's like this, wasn't it? Oops. I want to do this. It's like... Oh, it's 10, okay. I had it at 10 pixels. So this should now be correct. Perfect. And as far as I know, this is yearly. And Chris saying, Niko vs Portal, I've seen this one before. Yeah, feels like it's been half an hour or so until we saw it the last time. But that wasn't the grand finals. The grand finals are now between these two players. Niko only needs to win one time to be the champion, whereas Portal would have to win 2 times. Again, double elimination, and that's where you can see, or could see at least, 2 score enter areas, like 2 results. So the players are getting ready here. Niko is once again doing classic invisible level 29. Invisible is tough, 29 is tough, and combining them is something you barely ever see. But let's see if these players will be able to do it. So, who will be able to win this match? Will it be Niko with a bit of time to calm down after the winner finals? Or will it be Portal, who just had to play a match against Unskll? Niko is going for 29 invisible Tetrises. What the heck? What the absolute heck? Just casual 29 invisible Tetrises on Niko's side. And that also shows you how little the actual field matters for these high level players. At some point you kinda just start to remember the field we're playing, and you mostly focus, I would say, on like your mental as well as the next piece, but no longer as much on the playing field. Like lower skilled players oftentimes look a ton at the playing field, but the higher you go, I would argue, the less it becomes in comparison. Okay, so both players are ready. It's going to be just a few seconds before we start the final, potentially final match here. Winners finals has been finished, lower finals has been finished, so it's now grand finals. Niko, Portal, let's go. Both players have now started. They faced off against each other just like a match ago in the winner finals, where Niko managed to win 3-2-1, and therefore is currently kind of having the upper hand. Played a match less, had some time to relax, put some pressure on Portal earlier. And of course, Portal also can win. Portal showed amazing performance here today against Unskll, but does need to win 2 sets in a row, basically. So let's see who will be able to do it first. like win the set, I mean. Niko next Tetris into 114 against Portal at 114 as well. Same points here for a second. Portal being a bit higher here, getting the bar into Tetris. Niko also set up for the Tetris, as you can see. Just wanting a bar or a J-piece getting the bar. Next up wanting a J-piece here. J-piece is finally falling down. We had a bit of a J-piece throughout here. Nice small single. Portal is a bit high here. That T-piece not quite where you wanted. Next Tetris to Portal once again here. We have 167 to 31, so Portal is able to secure a bit of a lead here in the opening. While Niko, is playing a bit high, has played 8 lines less at that point. So it's like, it's a tiny lead. Mostly by the line difference. I know. Next Tetris is going to Niko and Portal. And yeah, based on the upper finals that we saw, we should be able to see some nice level 29 to 39 action as well. So we could see full 5 games going to level 39. We even saw some level 39 line clears, so why level 40 most likely won't happen. We could see, like maybe a few singles on level 39, the double kill screen. Here Niko having that bar on the left side, which means flat burn is done, has 2 holes in the stack, so there's a bit of cleanup for Niko to do, which means that Portal will be able to build up a small lead here, and thanks for the 300 rubles added to the prize pool. If you want to support these players, then feel free to donate to the prize pool. You can do that by the link that I have just posted in the Twitch chat, or by going to donationalerts.com/r/classic Tetris Russia. You can donate using rubles, euros, dollars, and some more currencies. I forgot the others. But there are lots of ways to support these players. Niko having a tuck or spin set up, getting the J-tuck, nice. While Portal having a cut-em for Tetris as well here, or at least had that some seconds ago. Niko getting a bit high here, close the well just before the bar came, is now burning a few lines, open once again, getting the bar. And Tetris to Niko. Okay, looks like Portal could be back soon. Or maybe disappeared forever. Depending on how long Portal is away, we will just restart potentially, because, Portal is away for out of 19. That makes it a bit tougher to count the match. Okay, but looks like Portal's back perfect. 440, 479, so Tetris and a half lead to Portal. Portal going for cut-em 3 and 3 high, getting the bar. Tetris to Portal. Most likely wants to get a bit lower and cleaner before the transition, but transition also only is a single away, so only worked out. Cleaner not really. Next Tetris is going to Niko. To Niko. And over to Niko for 92 against 532. Next Tetris to Niko into 516 into 540, so there's neck and neck between these two players. But Niko can now start building up a lead here against Portal. And let's see how big that lead will be. Next Tetris is going to Niko here. And one more going to Niko once again. Into 592 against 577. Portal having played a few lines more, which means the lead is even bigger in terms of pace here to Niko. And once again, a perfect clear for Niko. Niko is able to go for these perfect clears so often. It's quite impressive to me. Like normally you barely ever see them, and this has been like the third perfect clear that Niko showed us, which just tells us how clean he can play. Tetris is going to these players, 703 and 658. So Tetris and a half in points and 2.5 Tetris lead in pace for Niko. Next Tetris going to Niko. And simul Tetris between these two players. It's a setup for Niko. Just waiting for the bar here, getting the bar. Tetris to Niko is happening now. Nice. Portal is also waiting for the bar. And does the bar fall down is the question. It does today. Hang by Portal. Portal topping out at 752, which means Niko wins game number 1. It is 1-0 Niko. And Niko is starting the grand finals quite strongly here, winning the first game. And let's see if Niko's mullining all the way to level 39. Looks like Niko is not. And that means we can see game number 2 a bit quicker. So level 18 was quite strong here for these players. Level 19 most of the time as well. It's just that Portal didn't flip the long bar perfect in terms of the timing. And therefore topped out at level 24. But these players are ready for the next game here, for game 2, which we will start now for Niko and Portal as well. So let's see if game 2 will be as close as game 1 was here in 18 and 19. Few burns that Niko needs to do, which Portal more or less also has to do here, but the high spy on Niko also, in the center for Niko has also happened. So a bit of cleanup that Niko needs to do there. And Portal is able to get in a small lead here against Niko, 117, 121. And both players are open. Well, Portal just had to close the ball here, so depending on the bar timing, Niko might be able to get a lead in now. Okay, we have quite a long drought here. Niko is able to use the bar just now. Is able to use the next one as well. Portal is able to use bar 1, but not bar 2. And the next bar that Portal can use, 166, 169. It is neck and neck here between these two players. Niko being a bit high now, getting the bar over Tetris to Niko. And over to Niko. Portal in the meantime also getting a bit higher here, getting the bar and Tetris. And we should see, yep, the second Tetris to Portal, as well as the bar dependency fixed on the left side. Doesn't go for the burn on the right side. Okay, now goes for the burn on the right side to get Tetris already here. Portal that was. Getting the bar and Tetris to Portal. Wanting the J piece here. J piece does fall down. Needs to burn 4 lines in total. Burning now succeeded. And the J piece, not what Portal wanted there. It's gonna first force Portal to burn a bit, which in return will allow Niko to get closer and overtake Portal for a few seconds here at least 271, 275, neck and neck. Niko getting a Tetris, having a small hole in the stack, so he's gonna burn like 3 lines here in order to get ready for the next Tetris, while Portal 298 getting 2 small burns in. And we are done over halfway of level 18, and we could still see a double 600k transition. But yeah, so this level 18 has been once again quite efficient and quite closer between these players. So we're getting into the last 30 lines of 18, just before the 19 transition here in game number 2. As we're currently in 1-0 for Niko, 381 Niko, 441 Portal, 30 lines to go until the transition. Okay, just a few more lines to go before level 19. Both players trying to get the cleanest stack possible. As you can see, Niko now having a clean stack, Portal now having a clean stack. 4 lines for Niko, exactly a Tetris. Just waiting for the bar here. Not taking the safety triple, the power of rolling. Next bar Tetris to Niko just happening, and one more Tetris to Niko, and one more to Niko. So Portal should also get at least 1 or 2 Tetrises in here. Yep, getting Tetris number 1. Tetris number 2 sadly didn't happen here for Portal, but gets 1 more bar, and next Tetris to Portal, and 1 more. 640 for Portal, 574 for Niko. And 1 more Tetris here to Niko again. 1 more to Niko. Portal getting the bar into kind of 1. Nice. Waiting for the next bar for the next Tetris here. So, bit high now for Portal in terms of stacking, but does get good pieces here to clean this up. Getting the bar and Tetris for Portal. Of course, second bar, not able to use it because the well was closed here for what felt like a piece. And then a bit of an S-piece burst put on top of that, so Portal is cleaning up a bit here, which means Niko might be able to overtake Portal here. We have 687 for Niko, 705. Next Tetris to Niko just happened, so Niko is now ahead of Portal in points. Niko needs to still burn a few lines, which means Niko overtook Portal. Portal is trying to go for a Tetris here, but doesn't look like it's working out that kindly at least. Bar for Portal at the proper timing maybe. And of course, once Portal is like, I'm gonna get the triple, then the bar is the next piece. Wasn't able to use the bar for Tetris, but at least it's clean. Got a Tetris at the bottom of the stack, and we have 781, 761. It is neck and neck here between Niko and Portal. Few burns here, next Tetris going to Niko. Niko now at 842 against 823, as we are done at about half of level 19. There's 4 levels to go on 19 and then all of level 29. And of course, the higher you get in the level, the more points you get. So they will just skyrocket in terms of scoring. But yeah. Niko is ahead, not the situation that Portal wants to have. But Niko's going for the wits. Okay, bar does arrive in time. Now waiting for the next bar. And here's the bar into Tetris for Niko. Niko now at 985 versus 932 here for Portal. Next Tetris going to Niko, next Tetris going to Portal. Max out for Niko just happened. Portal is still gonna need a Tetris and some change. It's getting a bit high, getting some change, getting a Tetris. Max out for Portal. It is close between these players. Basically, AA next Tetris for Niko B28 against A55, so like 70k difference between these two players into level 29 into kill screen speeds. Okay, Niko getting the next Tetris over. Nice, well played here. Is ready for the next Tetris. Portal also trying to go for Tetrises. But Niko has a bit of an easier time to go for them in terms of the pieces that fall down. Niko needs to burn a few lines here. Portal is ready, waiting for the bar. Please give Portal the bar. Bar does fall down here for Portal. Portal got the next Tetris. C97, B57. Niko is able to go for the next Tetris here. Is set up, so is Portal. Both players waiting for the bar. Portal is now close. Needs something for the right side. Does get the bar over. Left side for Portal needs some help as well. He does get a few burns in. Next few burns here for Portal. The incorrect S piece for Portal just happened, so Portal is still in the cleanup process. LJ dependency is filled in. Right side of Portal is now open once again. Is waiting for the bar to get the next Tetris in. And we can see that both players now have a clean stack. Next set is going to Niko. Niko at E. Portal is still at C45. So we bought a 150k lead here to Niko. Niko's lead on level 29 speed here is just increasing. But we are only on level 35. We have still half of level 29 left to go here. Niko needs to burn a few lines. Portal is trying to get down to 0 height once again. Both players are open. Niko is going for the next Tetris. Next Tetris going to Niko. Portal also going for a Tetris here. And wow, this is such amazing 29. Okay, bar over to the left for Portal. Portal going for some more burns here. Niko going for the next on the left. F and D, about 100k lead here for Niko. Portal is closed here. Wants to go for as many Tetris as possible. Please give Portal the bar. Bar to Portal just happened. But Portal is still behind by quite a lot here against Niko. Niko is trying to go for one final Tetris here. Does get the Tetris into level 39 and so does Portal. We have 1.6 and 1.4. And what a level 29 that was. We saw aggression and we saw survival. We saw like 10 high for Portal, getting low, getting into clean, getting into Tetrises. We saw Niko just going for Tetris after Tetris after Tetris. This was, wow, such amazing gameplay by both players. Wow. What a game number 2. There is at least one more game to go. This was only game number 2 in this best of 5, so yeah. They can repeat this. They can show us something at least as amazing as we just saw again. If Niko wins the next game, he will have won the whole tournament. Portal needs to reverse sweep now to force the bracket reset. Can Niko secure the win, or can Portal start the reverse sweep? We will find that out in game number 3 here, which will start now for Niko and Portal, and immediately different stacking setups. Niko just seeing, okay, I can go for Wits, went for the Wits, and the second bar just fell down again. And so many bars in the early game, you kinda don't want that. A, for your stack health, and B, because the more bars you get now, the fewer bars you get later in the game most of the time. Okay, next Tetris going to Niko. Portal already got a Tetris in. Is waiting for bar 2. Or I guess bar 7 at this point. Based on what we saw, Portal needs to find a way to get ahead on level 18. Like level 18 feels a bit like the weak point of Niko currently. And yeah, Portal especially on level 29 speeds I feel like is currently the weak point. So let's see how game 3 will go. Level 18 has started as we are about 40 lines in. We can see about a Tetris lead here to Portal. $281, $259. Portal needs to clean up a few lines quite high. And looks like Portal is cleaning them up. Nicely done here. Is nearly, yes, open, waiting for the next bar here for the center Tetris. Does the bar arrive in time here for Portal? Okay, Portal doesn't need to close the well before that. And is now, yeah, trying to clean this up to get into just a standard position. While Niko can just go for Tetris and Tetris. With a question asking, does Portal need to bracket reset? Yes, and Portal is too high! Misdropped that LPs, I believe it was. Okay, no, the next LP is hanging by Portal. Just when I look at the chat, this happened. And that means Niko is your 2025 Russia champion. Huge GG's to Niko for pulling off the sweep here. Managed to show us one nice game all the way to level 39. Is now getting quite high himself. And let's see if Niko can get out of this. Okay, let's see. I mean, it's high, doesn't get the bar over. Okay, so Niko also topping out here at level 8, line 87. So huge GG's here for Portal for managing to get up to the grand finals. And then also huge GG's here for Niko for winning the whole tournament and being your 2025 Classic Tetris Russia champion. So I don't know what's in now, if there's like a prize ceremony or anything like that. All I know is that we have this happening here. Let me ask if there is some kind of prize ceremony next or anything else in the schedule, because I have absolutely no idea. Which of course is the perfect prerequisite for a stream, not knowing what's happening next. But yeah, just ask and hopefully we'll get some kind of quick feedback. Let's see. Okay, so apparently there's nothing planned, which means I will send you over to a CT. I will try to send you over to CT Russia. I believe I actually can't. I can't. Question mark? Am I mod? I need to be mod for that, and I don't think I am mod. Yeah, I'm not mod. I can't. Huh. Okay, so I would say huge thanks to all of you who were watching. And I hope that you totally loved what you saw. If there's a mod in chat like who is a mod actually? I believe Quiz is a mod and could do it. Yeah, Quiz or Kingsman or Mesa. If you're in the chat and you wanna raid someone like CT Russia, then please do so. Otherwise, I'm gonna end the stream in just a bit. In general, huge GGs to these players here, showing us the best that the Russian and Kazakhstan area can show. Here we saw quite a few amazing games here. And I would say I will end the stream as it doesn't look like there's anyone here who can raid. So huge thanks to you watching. I hope you had an amazing time over here. And yeah, see you again in other streams here on CT1. Or for example also hopefully again soon some CTL